Welcome watching this video. I'm Alan. Today, I would like to introduce two-tier tax rate regimes in Hong Kong. The standard profit tax rate in Hong Kong is 16.5% for corporation and 15% for unincorporated business. On the other hand, two-tier profit tax rate has introduced for corporation and unincorporated business with effect from the year of assessment 2018 to 19. Under the two-tier profit tax rate regime, the profit tax rate for the first 2 million Hong Kong dollar assessable profit will be lowered to 8.25% for corporations and 7.5% for unincorporated business. Assessable profits above 2 million Hong Kong dollar will continue to be subject to the rate of 16.5% for corporations and standard rate of 15% for unincorporated business. All entities with profits chargeable to profit tax in Hong Kong would qualify for the two-tier profit tax rate, except those with a connected entity which is nominated to be chargeable at the two-tier rates. For two or more connected entities, only one of them may elect the two-tier profit tax rates. Let's discuss about the connected entity. An entity is a connected entity of another entity if one of them has control over the other. B, both of them are under control of the same entity. Or C, in the case of the first entity being a natural person carrying on a sole proprietorship business, the other entity is the same person carrying on another sole proprietorship business. Generally, an entity has control over another entity if the first mentioned entity, whether directly or indirectly through one or more than one other entity, A, owns or controls more than 50% in aggregate of the issued share capital of the later entity. B, is entitled to exercise or control the exercise of more than 50% in aggregate of the voting rights in the later entity. Or C, is entitled to more than 50% in aggregate of the capital or profits of the later entity. Then how to elect two-tier profit tax rates? In the case of no connected entity, the taxpayer has to declare that it has no connected entity at the end of the basis period for the relevant year of assessment. For administrative convenience, the tax-paying entity can simply declare in its tax return that it is chargeable at a two-tier profit tax rate. For taxpayer with connected entities, the nominated entity may make the election by declaring in its profit tax return or individual tax return that it is chargeable at a two-tier profit tax rate for the relevant year of assessment, whereby no other connected entity elects to be so chargeable. Once the election is made, it is irrevocable for that year. However, a different connected entity may elect the two-tier profit tax rates for a different year of assessment if all conditions are met. Let's talk some issues you may concern. If no election for the two-tier profit tax rate has been made, the whole assessable profit will be chargeable to profit tax rate at the rate of 16.5% or 15% as applicable. If a natural person owns two or more sole proprietorship business, the person is taken to be a separate entity in relation to each sole proprietorship business. The application of the two-tier profit tax rate will be restricted to only one of the sole proprietorship business which has made the election. Please be aware that heavy penalties may be imposed for making an incorrect return without a reasonable excuse. Additional assessments will be raised on the taxpayer on the basis that two-tier profit tax rate do not apply. This is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.